It is Capital 100.4 FM Radio's Heartbeat, and 23 past 1 is the time. Welcome to the second hour if you're just joining us. And it is adulting. And thanks to Newsdays for giving us the news at 1. They will be back at 2 with more news updates. Today I have a special guest in studio, and I want him to do his intro. Like, I want to make it fun. Look at his face. I wish you could see his face. Hello, Pedzi.
Hey, what's up? How are you?
I'm good. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yes, and we are talking about the power of planning today.
Yeah.
So, tell us who you are, Dad. I'm putting you on the spotlight.
Yeah. Okay. In a nutshell, it's just the coach. I specialize in designing, implementing entrepreneurship training programs, and currently I'm a consultant for Old Mutual under the 8 to 5 Innovation Hub.
Can you explain to me what is the 8 to 5 Innovation Hub?
8 to 5 is an amazing community that we have managed to also merge with a beautiful building. So beyond just offering co-working space and office utilities, we also craft up programs that help develop entrepreneurs or startups within their businesses.
All right. So today we are talking about the power of planning, and planning is a fundamental process that serves as a guiding light in our personal and professional lives. It's also the process of setting goals, defining strategies, and also organizing resources to achieve desired outcomes. And we started the new year 2024, and obviously it's just 4 days into the year, and planning is something that is a priority this week because we need to get our lives in order for the year, for the month, for the week, and for the day as well. So yeah, as young people, we definitely do struggle with planning. We fail to understand why exactly planning is important. So I want you to tell me in your own words why you think planning is important.
Planning for me is important in the sense that it is a big picture. I give an example. If you want to go to Bulawayo and just get in your car and you start driving, chances are you may not get there.
True.
Number one, possibly because of the wrong direction. Number two, you have insufficient or inadequate resources with you. If your car is not serviced, if you leave money, you might not pass the tolls. So the whole concept of planning is making sure that all necessary activities or entities that will get you to your end or your destination are put in check and are put together to ensure that you get there.
I think as young people, especially the month of December, there was this word that they used. I really didn't like it.
Kuriska.
That one. And I'm thinking to myself, hey, as young people, we've taken advantage of such words and failed to actually plan out. So I'm thinking to myself, as a young person, like you mentioned, did you plan everything? And I want you to tell me, what in your life, how has planning become very useful? Because we just think that
it's just planning.
It's just planning.
I think planning for me is one of the most fundamental elements of ensuring that I get what I need to get done. It ensures that the people that I work with also have an understanding of where we're going, which builds trust. It also builds confidence in the person leading them. Planning also ensures that we don't waste resources because we are sure if we say we need this much to get to that level, we are sure that we will be able to actually account for. Planning also just shows confidence for people who are investors in our work or in our ideas. That confidence is very essential because where some resources are lacking, the moment you show someone that you actually have a plan, they are willing to step in. So I think for me, planning is one of the most fundamental things, and it's constantly ongoing. It's not a one-day thing that I have the beginning of the year and I say it's done. It's something. It's a document. It's a note star that really keeps me in check to say, look, where we're going is this way. What we need to change is that, and it helps us also be agile. It helps us to really either move faster or to say, guys, let's slow down a little bit.
All right. So I'm thinking, like, this is just a personal question.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, as a young person, it's all about adulting, like, so it's usually targeted on young people. As a young person, there are certain things that you choose to ignore when it comes to planning. How have you gone around with planning in like does it affect your social life as well? Because I don't even know what I'm trying to say.
I get you. So, okay, picture your life as a business, as a company, because your life is a company. The unfortunate thing is many of us don't run our lives like a company, hence why we have some lagging areas. So a company has got compartments or departments. So has your life. So if you look at yourself right now, you have the fitness compartment, you have the social compartment, you have the spiritual compartment, the financial, you've got all these compartments happening at the same time. And all these compartments are run by different teams, whether you've hired them or you haven't. Right?
Yeah.
So for instance, your spiritual side, you go to church.
True.
There's someone who leads you there. Someone who gives you inspiration, someone who gives you the word and who feeds your spirit. That's a team. So that person is the MD of your spiritual life, your papa or whoever, right?
Yeah.
And you have to be very particular or specific about what you want to achieve in the next 2 months, 3 months, and you rate that papa.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
The spiritual side.
Of course.
Wow.
Because either you're growing or you're falling. Let me give it to you in this manner. The moment you were born, you started degrading. You started dying the moment you were born. Right?
True.
So your objective in life is to ensure that you die very slowly. Does it make sense?
It does.
Yeah. So if you do certain things, you are going to die faster, or you will age faster. So your body will crumble, your mind will crumble. So your goal is to ensure that you constantly are growing rapidly, or at least constantly. So even in like I gave you the church example, you have to actually monitor yourself with, okay, how many books of the Bible have I read, and what have I understood? What is my relationship with God? Am I growing? Am I praying longer? Am I able to fast longer? Am I actually, has it become a culture or a habit in me? You get it? And it's in everything, even at the gym. At the gym, you actually have a team.
I need to plan.
Yeah,
I never thought about the
my
spiritual side.
my body goes.
Yeah, my body, summer bodies.
Yeah.
Wow.
Even family. The family. You have to plan to say, okay, what did I? The biggest problem that we have is people plan forward without looking backward. So for people, 2024 is a new year, but is it a new year? Is it actually a new year, or is it's on a continuum? We're still going.
We're still going.
So if you do not reflect on what happened yesterday, which is the number one, the most important aspect of planning is looking backwards before you go forward.
I love that part. Yeah, because most of us plan ahead.
Yes.
We never sit down and say, okay, fine.
What happened?
What happened to my shoe?
Yeah. Because if you don't look backwards, what is actually happening is you're going to, and let's assume it's a body goal, and you didn't manage to achieve it in 2023. Just because we've changed flipped a page on a calendar doesn't mean that automatically it's going to start happening. You're going to give yourself a resolution, but a resolution does not look backward. It starts now going forward. When you look backward, you're like, okay, what caused me not to achieve what I wanted to achieve? Was it the food? Was it my working times? Was it the people around me? Was it my coach? Was it lacking of equipment? This is just in terms of the gym, right? So when you assess that and you analyze, you now tick boxes and say, okay, this is what I need to actually work on before I go forward. I need to adjust that. Because what you don't handle from the past becomes a habit, turns into a culture, and then turns into a cycle. So when you get in 2024, you're not only carrying these new resolutions, you're carrying your cycles. And the sad thing is, it's a snowball effect. By the time you're in June, it's a snowball. It gets bigger and bigger.
It does.
We're in 2025. It's huge. But something you could have just looked back and said, I'll put the stop to that now so that 2024 becomes better. Some people don't even need new plans or new goals. They just need to cancel old habits.
Wow.
That's all.
I never thought about it like that. Like, you know, like what you were saying, but knowing Fungas with planning, the first thing is I need to plan ahead. You never say, okay, fine, I wasn't, because the first thing you do, because I've tried planning, I really have,
right.
And you write down certain things, and then they don't work out. I've never thought about, okay, why?
Didn't they work out?
So I want to ask this question. So let's say planning and time management work together, right?
Time management.
Like, on a daily basis.
Oh, yeah. So you're actually, I like the statement that I once read, is that you're not managing time, you're managing yourself in time. So it's self-management.
I was struggling with that. I wake up at time, bobo, and I tell myself, you know, let me chill for a bit. If I go in bath at this time, I'll make it. It was like, nah, let me chill for 5 more minutes.
And then you're late.
And then I'm late.
Exactly. Yeah. So time won't change. You change. So you manage yourself in time. Yeah. Self-discipline. And you see, the thing is that the easiest thing to do when you want to manage, in quotes, time, or yourself in time, is having something that is bigger to draw you or to pull you towards the time. So for instance, you said the waking up issue. Let's say do you work on a Saturday?
I do work on Saturdays.
Let's say it's a Sunday, right? And then you have a date. This guy says, look, I want to take you to the best restaurant lunchtime, 1 p.m. You usually wake up at, let's say, 11, 12, and you just, I'll start getting ready because you had a long night, for instance. If the goal that is in front of you is worth pulling you, or is worth it to you, it will pull you faster than a small goal or vision in front of you. So what draws you close? Your vision pulls you. You don't go to your vision. It is pulling you. You see?
Yeah.
So the more valuable it is, the more possible, the greater the possibility of you getting to it. But if it's small, it's not even visible, you will not be inspired to. So with the date issue, you will wake up early. You wash your
6
face.
a.m.
Or you remember those days when we were growing up and then we were told to go on holiday. You would not sleep. In fact, you would sleep with your clothes on.
Yeah.
5 a.m. you're awake.
You're ready.
You see, it's the same thing with goals and planning. Yeah.
So you're one of those people who don't go with the tagline, you only live once.
YOLO.
Yeah.
Atuno riska.
Riska.
Okay. So a lot of people have the notion you only live once, but it's planned for. Yeah. You can only live once within what your capacity can accommodate. Yeah. So if you've got $100 and you know, and people like social media, so it's a mess.
I always talk about it with people that they let you say, it's like you no post a picture on your status. You've taken 5 pictures. You do not pick. I'm posting this one. You pick the perfect one. That's the same thing with social media, but you miss it.
Yeah.
We're thinking it's rosy for them.
Exactly.
Nah, it's not.
So the people you're seeing YOLO in there, they've planned for that stuff. Because there is no person in their right mind who knows that January is school fees. Right?
Pay your rent.
Rent and all these other costs. And then December they're enjoying. They're spending money popping bottles. They would have planned for it. So the YOLO part is, this 1, 2, 3 things are gonna get me money. Let's enjoy. Number one.
And taking us back to what you were talking about, which you just don't wake up and say, I am going to Victoria Falls today. Obviously, I need to sit down and plan it. But then when I put it on social media, #Kungoriska, that's what I'll say.
But do you know there are people who plan faster? There are people who have a faster rate of their critical skills thinking or is so fast. They can make a decision right now to say, I'm doing this. Their mind automatically starts calculating and putting things in place. So someone who doesn't have that skill, which is like critical skills is not taught in school.
No, it's not.
And it's a disadvantage for a lot of people. Someone who doesn't have that skill cannot cognitively accelerate like this person. You see. So we are risk, but this person and a plan. Yeah.
Yeah, that takes me to our next question. So you know how some say life is better when you don't plan for it.
Mm.
How? That a recipe for disaster. Right? How feasible can that be?
It is unrealistic.
It is unrealistic.
There's a statement that is so prominent out there. If you do not plan, you are planning to fail.
Yeah.
Every decision you're making, you're planning.
Mm.
Not planning, you've already planned. Because I told you, from the moment we were born, we're degrading.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Every day hair is falling out. Your sight is getting a bit blurred.
Yeah.
Even your fitness is. So if you don't plan to go to the gym, you've already planned. You get it?
Yeah.
So why not just put the proper plan? Why not just decide where you want to go? Yeah.
It is Capital 100.4 FM Marare's Heartbeat. I do have Pedzi in studio. We are talking about the power of planning. So you can interact with us on the WhatsApp platform. But before I do that, do remember that it's now back to school season. You can pay your school fees into your ZB Bank school fees account, hassle free at Herald House, corner Sam Nujoma Street and George Silundika Avenue, Harare. Both Zimbabwean dollar and USD payments are accepted. Come in now and pay fees conveniently. Back to our conversation as we are talking about the power of planning. You know, I'm still in shock, honestly speaking, about what you talked about when you talked about how you need to plan spiritually as well. Because some of us go, oh, don't change, that's what we have in our mind with our person.
Right.
And you're telling me that you need to sit down and check on your growth, which is something I bet 99%. I'm lying, but most people, most people, I'm pretty sure they don't understand that you need to actually plan spiritually as well. Anyways, you were talking about how unrealistic it is. Some say life is better when you don't plan for it, and then you mentioned something about a certain skill that most people have that is not even taught in schools. We don't know what to plan. Some of us, we need a whole month. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, critical skills. The critical skills thinking is extremely important.
Can you say you have it?
Who?
You.
Me. I think I've done some sufficient work to attain it. I'm still working on it. But being a coach, of course, it's one of the things where I had to be trained on. And so one of the things that I do, I always tell the entrepreneurs I work with, because at our hub we've got like a lot of entrepreneurs, companies in there, and I always tell them that, look guys, I cannot teach you what you do. So if you're a developer, if you're an admin, if you're a digital marketing, you are super good at that. You are excellent. I can't teach you anything new in that. In fact, you can go back to school and be taught that. My goal is to teach you the things that are not taught, because your hard skills will get you into the room, but it's the soft skills that will keep you there. Yeah. So just even emotional intelligence, cultural intelligence. I was saying that when we started talking, that your life is a department store. Picture it as a department store or a holdings company. Your mental health is a department. Your social is a department. Spiritual, physical, family, financial, all this, even romantic relationship. It's all a department. And the thing that keeps you in it, or makes you run your life sufficiently or at least above average, is having the understanding of like cultural intelligence. The way you relate to your parents is not the way you relate to your pastor.
True.
Or an asha or madikon. It's not the way you relate to your spouse or your romantic lover. It's not the way you relate to your gym partner. So it would be very naive to assume that we can just be universal. I am who I am. You heard those statements. No, they accept me as I am. No. There are times where if you serve in church, for example, you're an usher, and the pastor says, go and invite your family to church, right? Then you go home. When the guy stands in your church, you've heard those things. You get it. It's because that alone shows you that your life is a department store. And those people playing in that area are your team. So you need to have those soft skills. Yeah.
Okay, fine. This is a question that I think most people would want to know. Obviously, you didn't just wake up and you good. You just have that power of planning. How was it like for you? How did consistency play a part in you becoming that planner that you are now?
Planning takes practice.
True.
Right. Number one. Number two, it takes education. Because in itself, planning, we shouldn't see it as a standalone entity. It is an instrument within the functionality of the whole process. So if we said that you, by the end of the year, let's say, in the next 2 years, you want to become the head of a radio station, between where you are and where you're supposed to get, there's a big gap. And that gap is filled up with knowledge, right? It's filled up with skills and expertise. Planning helps you identify those things to say, okay. So,
and the knowledge is not power. It's only power when you start applying it.
Yes. Knowledge is the key. Yeah.
It is,
but where's the door? You see, so planning helps you identify where the door is. And then it tells you steps on how to open it, how to get to it, what you need to do to actually. It keeps you accountable. It is your mini me. It is the angel aspect of you that sits on the right shoulder. Say, or tanonoka, or tapera nama resources. It keeps you accountable to yourself. It's the planning and goal setting is you taking your mind out of yourself and putting it on paper.
You're talking about accountability. Hey, I'm thinking you talked about how it takes practice to become that perfect planner. Not perfect per se, but
let's say a planner.
Let's say a planner.
Right.
And with accountability, did you have days when you beat yourself up because you weren't able to meet certain goals you've written as you were planning your day, your month, your year, any of that?
All the time. All the time. Yeah, you feel really bad.
One day,
you give up. You see, that's where the word discipline and consistency, like you said, because your discipline doesn't mean that you're getting it right. It means you are continually trying. You are going to try. I was watching this Instagram post whereby this guy was saying, when you say I do to someone, you're not saying I can, but you're saying I'm willing to try. Wow. That's discipline. I'm willing to try every single day. And then now the reason why people give up on certain goals, taking, for instance, that first aspect we talked about, looking back, fixing what's at the back, becomes a big ball, a snowball that really overwhelms you. Number one. Number two is sometimes you just need to just simply break down a goal into something smaller. So if your goal is I want to buy a Mercedes-Benz at the end of the year,
try.
Hey, get a fit for now. Because when you do that, you inspire yourself to say, I can actually do this. A third method is, let's say it's savings, or it's in terms of the perspective, your lens, the way you look at something has to change. So if you want to, say, build a house, your house, hypothetically speaking, let's say it's $20,000 or $30K. Don't look at it as 30K. Look at it as 31,000. And then you ask yourself, how can I get 31,000? If it's 1,000 is big, break it down. 10 hundredths. What do I need to do? How many gigs do I need to do to get 10 hundredths? And then you keep doing that. It becomes more attainable. It becomes more realistic. Yeah.
You know, honestly, what I learned, like what is still in my mind now is what you talked about, how when you don't look back, it becomes a snowball. Because it's just the 4th of January, and it's really good to talk about planning now, because I'm thinking to myself, I never sat down and said, what didn't I do best in order for me to achieve that goal and last year and this now achieve? Because I was quick to say, maybe I need to write another one. Yeah. And that takes us, anyways, it is Capital 100.4 Maradi's Heartbeat. I'm having I don't know, I'm just learning. And do hit us up on the WhatsApp platform 0719 100 404. Sorry, this ad popped in. If I don't play it now, give a pin.
And we don't take it for granted. The Herald and the Sunday Mail's market dominance is there for all to see as they dominated the print media category at the coveted Mass Superbrand 2023
You don't.
awards.
Talk of ending the year on a high note. That's exactly what our brands did. A big thank you to our readers and advertisers for making Zim Papers great.
It's Rocky Radio in 2024 on Capital 100.4 FM. And that is Hot Beat.
And we are back talking about the power of planning right here on Harare's Heartbeat. Hey, I was just talking about how I'm just learning, and I do have two last questions. So as we navigate in the new year, some say plans change, and you've actually talked about how we need to look back first. So why plan at all? Because how does planning impact our lives? Because I think this is a question I'm just asking for somebody who just joined, but you've just I can't explain it. You've just put everything together, and you even talked about the spiritual part, which I'm still in shock with right now, because we just go to church on Sundays and we come back home and we say, I know church, but did you grow? What did you learn? In terms of reading the Bible, we read our regular Psalms 23. You think you've read the Bible, but how? And every year you're reading the same chapters,
Right.
which is something I never thought about. So as we navigate in the new year, you talked about how plans don't change. It's just how you now, let me put in my own words, you're not just strategizing them, looking at what you didn't do well last year. Because I'm pretty sure some of us, the reason why our plans are not working out is because we lack consistency and procrastination. So yeah, I just want to know, how does planning impact our lives? Besides, because more often our planning, I don't think what is the work life. I mean, like, it's not for me.
Right.
But it's not only about that. So how does it impact our lives?
Okay. So inherently, every human being desires some level of growth. They desire some level of achievement. It makes us happy. That's why we sometimes even just scroll through social media, spending hours, because we are.
Yeah, and that one is a disease, yo.
You see now.
It really is.
But you know what it actually is? It's someone painting a picture in their mind to say, this could be me. What would I need to do that, or to get that?
Beginning of the month of December, I literally didn't deactivate my account, but I deleted the app from my phone. And I never, like Nijitanga, I used to struggle because I'm used to, let me go on Instagram, but I struggled, and till this day, it was worth it. It really was. So just supporting what you're saying, no one was it could have been me.
Right.
Oh, I wish this happened to me. And you have so many I wish, and you're not even focusing on yourself. You're not focused on what the people on social media are doing. So it helped me for like 3 weeks. I was off Instagram. I was the happiest person in the world.
So you see, that element is, so you planned to before you deleted Instagram.
It took a while.
Right. Okay, it took a while.
It took a while.
Did you somehow anticipate or picture what it could be, what it would look like after you did it?
No,
It just then happened.
it just happened.
Right. So, but what was the reason to delete?
To detox.
To detox.
To detox.
So you see the intention. So inherently,
So I did plan.
You planned.
I
You
did.
you had a goal to say. You may not have known what it would ultimately look like, all right? But the goal was, okay, I want to detox. If you really look deep into that, I want to detox, you find there's a reason in there to say why I want to detox. I would maybe assume to say, okay, I don't want the pressures that come with December. I don't want to feel like I didn't achieve much. I don't want to be all that. Okay. So that is the plan. The goal was to detox. The reason for the goal is I do not want unnecessary discouraging pressure.
True.
That is a plan. So inherently, whether we know it or not,
I did plan.
you planned. Yeah.
Okay.
It becomes much more efficient when you make it more deliberate.
Can I also bring this? That's when that's why you need to be intentional about everything that you do, right?
Right.
Because you talked about it being deliberate. Because I was just there like, I just need to do for the fun of it. But I'm pretty sure if I had been intentional about it, I would have seen better results. Not better results. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. I would have seen better, let me just say
Yeah,
better
better
results,
results.
because I've intentionally thought about, you know what, I really
Mhm,
need to
mhm,
detox.
mhm. So, like for example, let's assume you had actually really tried to say, let me make it a structured plan, and what you've achieved without the structure, let's assume it's 30%. But if you had actually said, okay, what else do I need to detox? Do I need to detox in my food? What effect would it have if I stop taking shots, or if I stop shisha? the same question is, what effect would it have if I detox certain people? So you may detox Instagram, which are people you may not know, but what if you had also detox people you
How
do
do you
know?
do that though with people? How? Do you stop going to their circles?
You just
do you-
cut off. You cut off certain things.
I don't know. I'm going to go on, right?
Yeah,
It's a
it's
process,
gradual. Yeah,
obviously,
you're pruning yourself.
Uh-huh.
You're pruning, because if you don't want to shock a system by just removing roots.
You know, there are certain people that are very successful in life that are around you that don't give you ka pressure ke kuda kushanda hard, but they give you pressure yekuti you're not worth it. So you're supporting what you're saying, you need to cut off certain people. There's people that are
Right.
very successful in life that are around you, and you don't tadi say as role models per se, but you look at them as those people just to make me feel as if I don't need it.
And even let's say it's not yet. Let's say the detoxing the person physically is not yet possible. You detox them mentally, where you are deliberate to say, and it comes back to that thing when you look back. But
Yeah, for the G.
then you notice it to know 1, 2, 3 things, and you're like, easy. I just need to stop with this. You cut it off. So you've planned for a better you by cutting this off, but you have actually looked back and you've evaluated with, no, this is not worth it. Yeah.
I was watching a video on one of my social media platforms, and there was a lady who was talking about how she's cutting off certain people that forced her to drink. She's like, there's nothing wrong with that group of people, but whenever I'm around them, I find myself drinking a lot. And she was just saying it's helping me because I have a clean mind. I'm not saying don't drink, hey, don't come for me, but I'm just you know, I'm just supporting what you're saying.
Right.
You look at certain people like I get problem, but what am I benefiting
But
from
no
this?
problem
You
when I'm
didn't
around
know.
there.
Exactly.
Right, I get you.
So yeah, and my last question is 5 minutes to 2, and we're about to get to the news. I don't even think this question is really necessary anymore, because you talked about self-improvement.
Right.
It's not only about in the corporate world,
Right.
it's also about self-improvement. What would you say to a you know, my results actually to a person maybe angari form 6? I know this is the scariest time of most people, because they're thinking, hey, if the results are bad, and maybe they had a plan, after this I'll go to uni, and then maybe it doesn't turn out like that. What would you tell such a young person?
So your goal should never change, but your methodology can. So let's assume hypothetically that you didn't do so well in the upper 6. The goal doesn't change. If you still want to be a doctor, redo it. There's nothing like I'm
The
too
pressure.
old, I'm too young.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, just redo it. Set your goals. Make it very realistic. And okay, like, you know, the whole SMART. A lot of people have talked about SMART goal setting. They have to be very specific. They have to be measurable. They have to be achievable, which is also dovetailing into it has to be realistic. Then it has to be a relevant goal. A lot of people say it has to be a realistic goal, but it has to be relevant. You
Yeah.
see? So the goal that this person has, is it pulling them? Like I was telling you, it has to pull you. Why do you want the summer board? Is the reason relevant enough in your life to encourage you and to self-activate discipline and consistency? And the time factor, what does it look like? Are you giving yourself enough time to really get it? But I want to add 2 more letters, because there's a smart way of setting goals, but there is what was now pegged as smarter, which is ER at the end, which is after all this, you have to have a system that evaluates, was what I set out to achieve it, which is now the E is now looking backwards. Evaluating all your decisions, all the goals, all the actions, and you're looking back and you're evaluating, you're changing these cycles, you're killing them. And then the R is reward. A lot of people don't reward themselves.
They don't. I think supporting what you're saying, when I finished my A level, I had a long year of beating myself up because I didn't get the goal that I wanted, like the results I wanted. So I set back for a little. It wasn't for a little, it was for a very long time, and it really affected me. I wasn't smart enough to, okay, fine, maybe you didn't do so well, but now let's find a way to get up. I was like, it's the end.
I get
I
you,
felt
yeah,
like it was the end, and it really affected me. Joguti, now when I look back, I'm like, I did a good job. You see,
you reflected that.
I looked back, I'm like, no, but and I a 1, 2, 3, but I can also find a way to get to where I want to get by doing 1, 2, 3. So I'm just supporting what you're saying. We have 2 minutes left, so your final words.
Okay, my final words is beyond setting goals. Goals are great to set, but don't set them in an isolated environment. I told you that each aspect of your life is a department store.
Sure.
Each department store is run by a team. So that team helps you achieve the goal within that specific department. So in a nutshell, the teams that you build around your life will ensure that you either achieve or you fail to achieve whatever you set. So that's number one thing. For 2024, if I'd say to anybody, detox certain things that cause you not to achieve what you want to achieve.
All right, Betsy, how do we get in touch with you?
I'm always here.
Yeah.
No, Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram. Funny thing, I put a couple of friends together. We're gonna do a 30-day free course on this whole goal setting and planning, but beyond the usual way it's done. We want to give people tools. So Instagram is one of the best ways to really catch up with me, Pedzi Chimwanda on Instagram.
All right, thank you so much, Pedzi, for coming. It is Cabbage 100.4 FM. It is 2 o'clock and it's time for the news.